and this gets delivered. So flight reservation form is delivered, right? So I need to go in here. See, the order is changed, correct? So all I need to do is just drag and drop to get the order in place again. Right? So what did we do here? We created a requirement. We also created a test for validating the requirement. But remember, I told you we have to link these requirements. So when I go to requirements coverage here, and I select the requirement tree, I remove all my filters, I will get my requirements that I need to connect to. So what did I do here? Now I have linked my test case to my requirement here. Do you want to add selected requirement and its children to test coverage? And I will say yes. Right? Now when I go back to requirements here and I refresh this, the status changed here. It says my requirement has coverage, but the test has not been executed. Right? Makes sense. So what happened here? From the requirement, I arrived at my test case. In that test case, I associated with the requirement again. So now, this is how we can establish relationship between the requirement and the test case to have traceability. The next thing that you can do with Quality Center is execute your test cases. To execute the test cases, what you need to do is go to Test Lab, in this test lab, you need to create, the way you've done create earlier, first folder is my FRS validation, right? I'm just giving it an arbitrary name. In this, I can add something called a test set. So let's say my test set name is Fool's Day test, right? I'm just giving it some name. Now, I've created a test set. This test set is not connected to anything at all, right? So how do I attach this to test cases? What I need to do is go and select test cases now, right? What happened here? I see the test plan tree available for me. I can select the test case that I want to run. It will become a part of my test set. Okay? Now, when I run this test set, watch what happens. It opens a test runner window. This test runner window will automatically associate a user, the start time for the execution, a test case that is integrated with this, and also provide you information on the operating system where you're running it. So this laptop that I am using is working with a platform Windows XP Service Pack 2 build 2600, which will be different on your system. If you go and look for it, you'll find it different on your systems. Please take a look. No. Create your test set. Have you created your test set? Okay. So in your test set, when you create your test set, when this window opens to run a manual runner and you click operating system info, you should be able to see it. Is everyone moving with me? Hello? Any questions here so far? Are you able to create it?
Yeah, Windows XP Service Pack 2 2600.
2600?
Yeah.
I also have the same thing, but we are working on different hardware. My hardware is a laptop, your hardware is a desktop, right? Operating system platform is same, right? So now when I start executing it, watch what happens. When I say begin run, it will now highlight the first test step of my test case. And in this it states what I wrote in my description. My description stated invoke the application, right? So I go ahead and follow instructions and invoke the application, right? Login window will be displayed. That's my expected result. And my actual result is as expected. Login window is displayed, right? So what did I do here? I noted the actual result. Did my test case pass or fail? The test step has passed. So I will go in here and select the green arrow indicating my test step has passed. So what is the next step now? Populate password Mercury. The problem is it is step number 4. It should have been step number 2 instead. But we know the sequence. We can always go and follow the sequence of Mercury here.
Here, I just have a small doubt. The description and expected result I can modify it here. So will this be displayed or can I save it here and it will be automatically displayed in the test plan?
What you are doing is you are versioning your test case now. You created a version, now you are modifying that version.
Yeah, and
it will be updated. So now we looked at all the steps and all the steps are passed. So instead of going through the steps, I'm just going to pass everything. Right? All the steps are passed. Now I can stop the execution of my test case.
Here we can also add test cases.
You can add steps, not cases.
Add steps, okay.
Right? So now what have we seen? We had a requirement. For that requirement we created a test case. For that test case we created a test set. When we executed the test set and I go back into the requirements, you should be able to see the successful execution of your test which covers the requirement. Alright? So this is what is available in Quality Center in a nutshell. There are other areas also like the defect module that needs to be looked into. Right? So what I am requesting you to do now is execute steps to create following. First thing that you need to do is create a requirement an invalid user cannot access the system. Right? Create test cases for that. Test data that you want to use is user ID is Mercury and password is okay, and trace Set up traceability by linking your requirement and your test case. Execute your test case. And review. Execute test case and review requirements. So that's the exercise that we need to do. Please get started. Online team members, please follow the instructions that mentioned here and do the exact same steps as we have done earlier. And let me know if you have any issues. Other than the homework that we have recorded in the class, Pravina, I am expecting everyone to read the QC tutorial that exists in the training DVD. That QC tutorial is a well-structured document that will give you heads up of what we will cover in the next class. So please make sure that other than the homework that has been shared with you, you read through that QC tutorial and come back. Yes, please.